twins brings a lot of values to the industry. All right, again, this is the talk again for our webinar today. Here today is the topic. We want to talk more about a digital twin, whereas Omniverse is the platform. All right, so let's have a look. Basically, NVIDIA has come up with the Omniverse as part of their ecosystem. Normally, earlier we share a lot about the advancement of AI in not only on the research point of view, but also for the commercializations. Okay, so today let's have a look on a specific platform we call Omniverse. So what Omniverse is all about? It is basically a platform, okay, anyway, to simulate, collaborate. So this is the best part, where you can collaborate with your team members throughout the globe for creating ideas in a virtual world. So this is some of the example where people works on factory CAD design, robot CAD design, okay, robots, digital human training, factory planning. So all the currency here, it is basically how they can communicate, because those who are familiar with the CAD design, normally they have a various kind of format. So USD is like the currency, or common format that is called as universal scene description. Okay, so this is an open source. This is the best part. Okay, so what Omniverse provide is basically for everyone with ideas to come up with idea we can create in the virtual world. All right, this is kind of platform not only for the virtual worlds with specific format where you can cover the various type of format on CAD design. It also have a specific part on path tracing. So this is giving like a real visual, like a photorealistic kind of informations or design that basically stay in the virtual world, but they have real functionality support by a physics. Okay, I will explain further about the physics, and then we talk about MDL. So what MDL is about, it is basically like a material definition language. So this is something like if you see some of the design in the Omniverse, you can feel like a real photoreal information in 3D world. So that's have the skins on the objects of it. So it's called a material definition language here. And the most important part is basically they have an AI component where we can do a lot of modeling here. In simple sense, what Omniverse offers is basically a platform in the virtual world that we can mimic a real physical phenomenon in real life, but everything's running in the virtual life. Virtual environment, for instance. Okay, so this is some of the example. Right? So beyond that, so this is basically you just need to have a good ideas, and of course we need to know how to use it. So this is like, at least to those who are with the background of developer, right? So this is some criteria or properties that what Omniverse can offer. It is basically a cloud-based solution, multi-GPU. Allow me to explain a little bit about GPU. This is basically a graphic processing unit. So nowadays, when we have a very high computational platform or kind of competitions to come up with rendering for AI modeling, so GPU is a multi-core base. So this is the enabler to run all these things. All right. So we talk about the standard. Okay. Basically, that's why I mentioned about the USD just now. It is scalable computing to address all workloads. Okay, and lastly, this is the one of the technology on the path tracing just now. So RTX solution from laptops to data center. So this is basically allows for the virtual environment to looks like a real photorealistic. So again, Omniverse is a cloud native, multi GPU, open platform for virtual collaboration and real-time photorealistic simulation. Right. So let me allow you to think about on the next slide. So when we have something to invest or to develop, we not immediately goes and find all the necessary things to develop. So Omniverse allows you to communicate in real time with physics, import a physics instance. So let's say if you look on the image here, this is where we have the aerodynamic design, okay, and also AI physics framework. Okay, so this is basically what we start first with. If you look on the Omniverse integrated physics, okay, on the left side. So this is the best option as it run real time and it's included, but the physics might not meet the customer requirement for accuracy. Okay, enable them to high quality visualization. Okay, so it looks real, but it is time consuming to process. That's why they come with the physics instance. So this is basically an offline process. But let me explain further after this about the NVIDIA modulus. So this is basically if we can replicate. So those who are familiar with AI, for instance, we talk about machine learning. So this is basically where we can gather as many as possible data, especially when we talk about virtual environment. There's no limit for us to gather data as many as possible in the virtual world. So what Modulus can offer is basically to train a physics-based AI. So AI is basically it based on data-driven model to replace the CAE on the conventional physics design and run AI instancing in the Omniverse. So this is like a module in the Omniverse. If we can get all the data from your setup environment, they can be used to replicate the models, the physics that we want to design. Okay, so in simple word, I have one good example after this video that you can see how we can use a physics in the antenna design, especially on the beamforming design, uh, to create in the virtual environment. Okay, so before that, if you look here, AI allows this all the trained physics model based on the governing physics, simulation, and the observed data. Okay, and it's basically running on multi GPU, and this is the real speed. If you look here, 1,000 to 100,000 speeds model. Okay, so this is ideal for digital twins, and this is available. All right, so just a quick one. So if you look on the next video by Ericsson, so this is where they have and which is something before people need to gather the information mostly based on your network analyzer to get the strengths of the signal. Okay, so let's have a look next.
In Omniverse, Ericsson builds city-scale models that are physically accurate down to the materials of the buildings, vegetation, and foliage. Then, wireless network components are added, including the precise location, height, and antenna pattern of each transmitter. Ericsson built a custom Omniverse extension, enabling them to integrate radio propagation data and leverage Omniverse's RTX accelerated ray tracing to quickly visualize and calculate the quality of the signal at every point in the city. Because Omniverse materials are physically accurate, the intensity of reflections are precisely determined. Antenna beamforming and signal paths can be accurately simulated and visualized. In the simulations, the lobes signify transmitter antenna beamforming and the straight lines are signal paths. The colors of the signal paths denote strength in decibels and data throughput, from blue is the weakest to red is the strongest. Visualization is a critical capability for Ericsson. With Omniverse VR, network engineers can virtually explore any part of the model, teleporting to any location, anywhere in the world, at one-to-one scale. As they tune the network for optimal performance or identify path disruptions, they can literally see the effects of their adjustments in real time, things which aren't visible in real life. In Omniverse, Ericsson can perform true-to-reality remote simulation of entire 5G networks, enabling them to design more efficient and reliable networks, conduct remote field trials, and speed up deployments.
Okay, so hopefully this give you a better idea about Omniverse. So it's not a video, it is a real 3D simulations. So you can create your own scenario and then they will produce like the environment to simulate the beamforming of the antenna. Right. So on top of the physics, Omnibus also have a good photorealistic based on the RTX rendering. So we talk about scalable multi-GPU, multi-node. So this is the real-time photoreal physically accurate of the image. So they can generate, I mean, like a real photo, basically in the Omnibus. It is based on open standard. Okay, so this is basically built in the NVIDIA RTX technology. Okay, let's have a look on a specific topic that we want to discuss today on Omnibus for digital twin. For quick one, so if you look on Omnibus in digital twin, there are 4 components. We talk about physically accurate replica, perfectly synchronized, AI enable, as I mentioned earlier on the AI modulus, interoperable and extensible single source of truths. Okay, so if you look on all these things, basically it is, if you look specifically on the physically accurate, so the AI modulus just now is really can be used. Okay, for instance, with reality physics, you can have the materials, the lighting components, rendering, and also the behavior, the phenomenon of the physics itself. Okay, so in large scale, enterprise and developer really can test the system, as you see just now from the Ericsson. So they have a software optimizations, upgrades in virtual world. We can do a lot of testing again and again before we make it real in the real environment, in the real world. So this is basically good for the physical prototyping. As it is close to real time, okay, this operating giving tests on the precise time, and also constantly we can try to synchronize to the physical world. So this is the real value when we talk about how people can think about Omniverse on digital twin. Hopefully you stay with the session, because towards the end I'll share with you some of our development that we utilize the Omniverse for our real case in Malaysia. All right. Okay, so this is basically a process uh, built for digital twin. Okay, so definitely if those not familiar with the 3D or digital twin, okay, so first we are talking about full fidelity of the visualizations. So this is basically it come across with the data collections. Okay, then we do on the custom 3D models. And with Omniverse, there are one value added, which is they have a physics simulations. Okay, and then we have the sensor model inputs. Okay, where this is connection and real-time streaming of data input from the physical twin to the real world. All right, and lastly, autonomous system, and then it is like a cycle. So if we talk on specific thing on the full fidelity visualizations, okay, basically this is how we aggregate the 3D data set. Okay, in a good fidelity. Okay, and then we can adding all the materials needed with the MDL support just now, and again lightings, and then we can think about how to make it real photorealistic with the support of the RTX just now. And then the second one on specifically on the physics simulation, as mentioned earlier, they have a modulus sensor input, okay, the connection physical twins to the real world, and lastly, a digital twin having the multiple autonomous robotic system operating in the same space-time that can optimize basically the system being built. All right, so this is just some ideas about starting blocks to building a digital twins. So we talk about, as mentioned earlier, so this is how it looks like, building a custom 3D tools in pipelines. It is more on a simple configuration. Those who are interested, they now I think we can discuss further how to use this platform basically. And one of it, this is one of the best thing about the digital twin with Omniverse is a synthetic data generations. Some of our experience in providing a solution to the industry before having the data is sometimes very a tedious process and very challenging process. Okay, so in the next slide, we will see how the synthetic data generations on the Omniverse with all the components, as we mentioned earlier, can be very useful to augment your availability of your data, right? So this is what we're going to talk after this. Okay. Prior to that, let's have a look on the 3D workflows in the product development. This is a normal process. Okay. So concept ideation, research and analysis, manufacturing and distributions before go to market on the commercializations. So, but again, if you think about all these things to be done in real world, you may fail with your manufacturing and distributions here. Okay, because the concept ideation, everything can be sketched, right? You study on the market, customer issues, what's the pain points, and then go for research. But this is where something we need to think about. The cycle of product development requires a real tangible output without any virtual or digital twin. So Omniverse come as a game-changing platform for product concept design review. So where you can do everything here, okay, starting from collaborative 3D workflows where you can have all your design, get all your data, full fidelity concept review, as much as the reals looks like. So if you're trying to design something as a component for the car manufacturing, so this basically less or much cheaper when we talk about tests without producing. So that's mean all what we see here, it is not real, it is in the virtual world, right? And definitely we can do reducing everything about the iterative ways, especially on the real one single source CAD design. So before anything is being built in reality, it is first designed and visualized in virtual. So this is what Omniverse in general can offer as in the product design review, basically. Okay, so if you look on the personas challenge, so the quick benefit all of this is on the faster design cycles, right? You can go for unlimited of innovations as you can try again and again, definitely reducing the cost. And the best part is all the tests and everything before the commercialization, all this can be done virtually, right? So this is the idea. Okay, if you look at the next design, this is where the Volvo basically car testing Omniverse in research and development workflow. So of course, earlier, whenever the design, definitely they already have all the CAD design and everything. So because Omniverse, it is ignorance kind of platform on the format of the data, because they have the USD format, so they can read all the format that being developed by the car design, for instance. So then all this design can be done virtually, not only as the aesthetic value, the looks or the design, but again, they also can have the behavior through the physics simulations. All right. So this is some of the ideas on how people use the Omniverse. Okay, on top of what you see earlier on the physics, especially for the Ericssons. All right, so this is some of the example. Apply AI and digital twin will be essential for every industry from now and future, right? So this is build a first simulated virtual world, okay, in the construction, and this is in the industry with the robot. Autonomous requires simulation in virtual. So not only have this one, they also have the virtual world to test everything. So as simple as everything built will first be simulated in virtual world with Omniverse. Then everything that move will be autonomous in the future. So this is like a platform to test all the development that being developed to cater all in the virtual world. So everything autonomous requires simulation in virtual world. So the third figure here that tells you we create an object or system or robots, for instance, we can even test the robots in the virtual world. So this is what Omniverse can offer. Right. So this is some of the example, okay, on different applications, up to the wildfire simulations, okay, how the propagations of the wildfire throughout the forest area, 5G signal propagations. Earlier, they already have a self-driving cars environments, Isaac Sims on the robotics. And the last one, we talk about the Avatar. All right. Okay, so a quick one. This is the best part that we can link to our previous experience when we work on a specific defect inspection system. In real world, to get the same defect, for instance, is quite challenging because normally they have like a Pareto analysis where there are only few common defects that will be appeared in the system or being produced by the machines. But in general, AI requires sufficient numbers for all interested classes to be predicted. So the point here with the Omniverse, it can be used as a synthetic data generation. What I mean here is basically we can augment the data as it looks like real in the real world, basically. So okay, if you look here, we can produce, let's say, in order to differentiate different packages here because of the objects design here. So in real production, maybe we can't control so much how much production. It completely depends on the client demands. As we can use data generations or synthetic data generation in Omniverse, you can imagine you can produce as much as possible number of image to train your AI using the synthetic data. So this is what the value. Those who are familiar with the AI, you require a lot of data where the data can be produced by the Omniverse with the synthetic data generations modules. Okay, so this is if you look here, basically this is what is true digital twin. In order to reach that one, so this is like the real process. So you need to combine from your real ground truths and also your simulated or synthetic data generation so that it can be combined and produce the right informations to get your AI model. So it's like a full feedback system combining the real physical world and also the synthetic data generations. So in simplest way, you can imagine how we can think about the marketing for the Mountain Dew here. So most probably the design will be changed in the next 3 months. So is that necessary for us to keep train the data based on the new line productions? So what we can do is basically to cater the future. So whatever coming out from the marketing or the design department in the company, they can come out with a nice design. Then we can start to collect the data, even though the production is not yet produced. So this is where we can immediately apply your AI engine even at the beginning of the system to be processed. Right. So this is some important part. So where a true digital twin must first, where we need to think about how accurate in terms of the physics through to the reality, and how we can synchronize to the physical twin, real and the virtual one. And lastly, we talk about operate at precision times as we can go for any latency. Right. So this is what the real digital twin with the Omniverse can provide. Okay, so I think I have a good video on top of this one. So let's enjoy the video. We talk about building the factory of the future. Okay, let's see the video.
On the momentum of their Factory of the Future initiative we showed you earlier this year. On average, they produce one new vehicle every minute, expanding the initiative to now include digital twin projects at 3 additional factories, which total more than 6 million square meters. Meeting BMW's demands for continuous improvement and innovation requires simulation of complex production scenarios to speed output, increase agility, and optimize efficiency everywhere. NVIDIA Omniverse introduces new simulation capabilities everywhere BMW needs to make critical decisions and introduce automation. BMW and their partners have also been connecting new users and tools to expand the Omniverse ecosystem. Spanning every aspect of the BMW Factory of the Future, Omniverse allows BMW to collaborate and simulate from the entire plant level down to comprehensive engineering detail.
Okay, so this is like whatever you see just now, all is in the virtual world, basically.
On the momentum of the.
All right, so this is again some of the example by Pepsi. Okay, basically how they can have like their virtual manufacturing system in the productions line. And I think what I want to share here, some of the example how we use so much from definitely some of the algorithms is being developed in our lab. Basically, I'm from Cairo UTM. Okay, so how we make a journey since 2017 from AI into something that we bring AI with a 3D. All right, just hopefully some informations about. We are beginning with a very small system for commercializations on AI, and we start to make a journey with Omniverse for the 3D solutions, AI 3D solution. I think just a quick one. So this is some of our research work from our lab in Cairo that we are trying to support the community and the commercial groups. So this is a real project. Okay, so and some of it even now we are talking about how to digitize and to make it into what they call a 3D, where we use on the photogrammetry. So this is another example that we work with one of the drone company in Malaysia or one of the project in Australia to count the cows, basically. All right. Okay, so this is where we start first on livestock monitoring, and then we move to behavior detections with AI, and then hopefully this is how the value of AI, and then how we can bring the same values to the Omniverse, to the AI in 3D world. So basically, this is one of the projects. So basically, we need to think about how many, when the drone flying, the company interested to know how many cows that available during that time. So then we can do accounting. So this is basically the total number of cows by passing through with the drone, where we at Cairo providing the engines or the API for the solutions, basically like a library for the developer to continue with their development. So as towards the end, what they want to know is more on the auto-generated reporting in general. So there are a lot of challenges during the data capturing, climate changes, the problem on imbalanced data set. So this is all AI-related design issues that we have faced earlier. Okay, this is just on the method. Okay, maybe I just play around this one single video. So this is how much AI can help them to do the counting when they're flying a drone. Okay, the same ideas that we're trying to bring into a 3D world now, especially on the tower design. Right. So that's some idea on the cow, and then towards the end we managed to come up with a full prototype system, how they can be used on the agriculture, especially for the livestock industry. Go for thermal. Okay, the same ideas. This is where we start before we move to AI 3D representations with the measurement system. We start with the real-time drone telco inspection, because basically they want to know exactly how many different type of antenna. So this is we come up with one of the industry that they want to count numbers of antenna that available without manual counting. So just a quick one. So this is a we fly and trying to get all the necessary counting for a specific objects or specific antennas. Okay, before I think later on I'll share with you how we convert from this AI and that we can use for AI 3D on the solution we call a tower mine. Right, so this is towards the end they talk about smart assets management technology basically. So this is our product that we come up with, a small craft design we call craft. So they can be used for auto detections on specific objects. Okay, and then we have the opportunity to work with one of the German foundries in Malaysia on the semiconductor. So again, all these things now we plan how to bring the extra value on the 3D world. We start first, later on we share on the telco tower. So this is allows the inspections of the defects. This is where we start the development, and we completed the project in 2018 for the solutions on AI defect inspection. So last time they requires like 30 minutes for people to do the inspection for 100 images or 100 type of wafer images. So now we can complete everything less than a minute with very precise classifications. Okay. With also as we from fundamental of research, we also do some measurement of the defect. And then we have the vibration analysis. Okay. And then I think we talk about thermal inspections. We work with the Tenaga Nasional, so how we can do the thermal analysis with the support of AI. So again, now we are interested to see how we can digitize all the assets with the profile as well. So maybe this is a very long video, but again, so this is what we developed in our lab for TNB. And I think this is the recent one we explore on a chatbot. Okay, maybe how we can bring the AI on the language large model. Basically, maybe a quick video. How those who are interested to see how the chatbot that we embed with the open AI, how they can immediately respond on the specific questions by the user on the website. When they're asking any question, our system can make like a good sentiment analysis based on the questions. Right. I think this is some of the example I think that we made it. Basically, all this is related to AI, and then we have the opportunity to work with the telco industry earlier on the AI project, and then how we use the omniverse basically on our design. We call tower mine. Okay, so what tower mine trying to do is basically they are interested to know exactly how to measure in the size in terms of meters without having a rigger to climb up the tower. So again, drone is used as the platform to collect data. So when we come up with a model, we not only have the AI model in a 3D image in the photo images, but whatever you see here, this is everything in the 3D image rendering. So this the 3D image rendering here, allows us to have the 3D context or 3D dimension informations about every single object here. So what we did is basically we can create our images for every single frames. If you talk about video, basically we have several frame of images. So what we do is basically we detect with AI on the specific object, and then we have the informations on the 3D to get all the dimensions. Okay, if you look on the next slide, whatever the video here, so this is basically all is a rendered image in our 3D from the 3D that we utilize so much on the Omniverse with our own pipeline. So from that, if you look here, it's not only counting, but what we did is basically we want to measure the size of the antenna. Either it is RF antenna, it is MW antenna, microwave antenna. Of course, they have another small equipment they call RRU that stand together with the RF normally as a communications block. So what Omniverse providing value here? First, normally in the 3D world, someone need to validate whether our measurement is right or wrong. That's the real challenge when we go through this project. It is already like it's about to complete now the project. It is already two years since late 2020, late 2020. What they want to have is basically how to measure every single object, because they want to know exactly how much left the tower can hold a new assets on the tower. So by having the right measurement, then we can translate into the right weight, and then we can make a proper planning how much we can extend the object to be hanged into the tower. So first, we combine the AI with our previous solution that I shared earlier, and then with the Omniverse to validate. But we try to come out with our complete pipeline, so that from the image that in the stitching mode, where we stitch all the image, and then they can have the representations in 3Ds, then we can do a full measurement on this one. So this is the journey, I think, starting from we start on all the AIs since 2017, 2018, and then we have the opportunity to work on 3D world starting by 2020. And we believe that when we start, Omniverse is not even available at the time, but at the time we so much use on those who are familiar, like blenders. This is like a 3D platform that we use for our measurement. And with Omniverse, they help us a lot to do the validation, as the I mean our client is basically, they don't have the exact measurement or even the inventory for every asset what they have in their tower. So now they not only can do the auditing for the facilities management, but we can do on the tower loading assessments for the tower. All right, so this is what Omniverse bring a value, and how AI provides more informations and trying to give the detections so that we can do the right measurement for specific objects. All right, I think that's roughly the idea when we talk about now it is end of the conclusions. So those who are interested to know more about Omniverse, first you can go and explore Omniverse Enterprise. Definitely you can contact me straight away. You can try Omniverse for beta versions in nvidia.com/Omniverse. Then you can join as a developer. So there are a lot of documentations here. Feel free to get more information from here. Then they also have tutorial and webinars on Omniverse, those who are interested to look more. Okay, and then forums, and definitely they also have in Discord. It's a platform for not only for NVIDIA, but basically it is like a community forum, so that you can try on discord.gg/NVIDIA Omniverse. All right, so feel free to try to Google more. But if you need more information, I'm very happy to share with you. My contact I will share later on at the end of my slide. I think for this particular event, I think again I would like to thanks to APTT for inviting me as a speaker. You also can get more information on AI as our center, Cairo, Center of AI and Robotics, will conduct a conference on 17 and 18 of July in Kuala Lumpur, in our just within our campus distance in the UTM hotel and residence. So feel free to get more information. You can go to this link, cairo.utm.my AIR Cairo, or you can just simply scan this QR code to get more information. So this is, I would like to invite all of you to join this event, AIR 2023. So basically you can get around or mingle around with people from the professionals, okay, from industry, also the researchers that they are looking at this one day by day basis to make it more beneficial from the research to something can be used by the community or the commercial team or commercial members in Malaysia. All right, with that, I think here is my contact. Feel free to contact. You can link up with me on the LinkedIn as well. I think with that, I end my session to the moderator. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Associate Prof. TS Dr. Mohd Ibrahim. I hope you all enjoy this amazing sharing on digital twins in manufacturing towards a connected and intelligent digital factory. Now, just a reminder, please be sure to type your questions into the question box in your control panel. So don't be shy. I will help to read the questions for you. Now, let's check the chat box for your questions. However, due to time constraint, just a reminder, we will try to address as many questions as we can. But for now, I can see only one. So, Associate Prof. TS, we have one question by Siti Asniza. She was asking, can Omniverse works with Open API?
Yes, I think if I straight away just call me Ibrahim. I think obviously.
Oh, Ibrahim. All right.
Okay. Okay. So I think there's one question, right?
Yes,
whether
one
it's work
question.
with Open API or not. By design,
Yes.
Omniverse is now an open source. I think by having the open source, it is, yes, it can communicate with the Open API. I think through our journey, I think we can share more. I think this is where we develop for telco industry. From the Omniverse point of view, yes, we create our own pipeline for the system. From the system, we can do communicate with the Omniverse basically.
Okay, we have another question from Citi also. For small companies, is it worth it to invest, create LLM?
Okay. It's not jargon so much to me on the create LLM. Yes, I think the one that been captured here, I think if you look at, I think one slide we thought about SEDA chatbot, right? Maybe we can communicate further, but I believe I'm not sure how much you talk about the investment, but again, from our experience, yes, we can communicate. It is a very much kind of subscription base. If you're interested to talk about the investment more on your OPEX rather than your CAPEX in general. I think worth because we have through our journey we have the opportunity to work with one of the Japanese warehouse system. So what we did is basically earlier, before we have all the open API, open AI API. So we do a lot of the sentiment analysis, and we do on the OCR basically. So it is very tedious process. So when we convert everything from the OCR and come up with the some sentiment analysis on the specific, let's say if you think about a receipt. So this is something we can automatically make like more process informations from one receipt into something can be appreciated for someone to make a decisions. hopefully it give you some ideas. From my point of view, just to share, recently we talk about one of the telco company. What they want to do is basically normally they have a lot of reports. So when they have a report, their engineers requires to do a lot of assessment or trying to summarize the report. So what we did for the company is basically we make it like just a simple API system. So when they upload all their reports in a PDF format, so they can immediately get back all the summarized information in just a second. So if you think about a 40 pages thick of report, if there's something necessary to small companies or any companies, then after minutes, maybe your staff requires like 1 hour to finish everything. So now you can get all the summary in your PDF into something being summarized in just a minute, let's say. So if you think this is something of value to small companies, investing on the LLM, because I think those who are familiar, I'm not sure whether you are familiar with, let's say, Hugging Face. We talk about Lelama Index. We talk about LangChain. So this is, I think, to those asking. So this is like what we being developed the solutions API to customize the needs. As example, just now, Seda, what we did is basically we trying to put in our platform. So this is where we can make the LLM in the context of the question to be asked. In the case just now, we make in the context of a Seda point of view. All right. So hopefully that's answer the idea. Okay.
Yes, she thank you for the explanations. Okay, now we have another one for Muhammad Fahizal. Digital twin, is it a combination of virtual reality and augmented reality?
I think from my understanding, as of now, is basically on the digital twin. From the point of view of Omniverse, it is basically a platform somehow from the data acquisitions with the high fidelity of data collections. So you can put it into this Omniverse, then you can have like your virtual reality. And I think if I understand correctly, augmented reality is one of the platform to make data acquisitions, or towards the end you can feel like you are in the real virtual world. But again, augmented reality normally requires like a device for you to feel like you are in a virtual. This is my understanding, where
Yes.
In the virtual reality, like omnibus or digital twin, so whatever you have your design, you can put your design into a digital environment or virtual environment, so that with omnibus you can have all the components. We talk about MDL, we talk about path tracing, okay, and we talk about AI, and then we also talk about the physics law. So this I believe some sort of the differentiations between the virtual reality and augmented reality, but both are running on you put yourself in the virtual world, basically. Hopefully that's answer, Mr. Faiza.
Okay, so just one question from me, Ibrahim.
Okay.
Okay, actually, I'm more curious because you have been doing quite a few projects, right, on this area. So, what are the barriers to the adoption of this technology in Malaysia itself?
Okay.
The challenges, maybe.
Yeah. I think the real challenges okay. Just to share with Ms. Liew, right? I think being part of the academic science of Malaysia as well, being academicians, right? So earlier, I think in 2019, what we did, 2018, what we did is we want to disseminate awareness about AI. So the real challenge is basically if you talk about the SME community. Okay, first, of course, funding is always the issues, the barrier. But more important is the understanding. From my observations, with some limited opportunity, right? My understanding this way is sometimes they are more marketing platform when approaching SMEs, the industry, even though it is not in AI, right? So the real challenge is um, uh, because having the opportunity in Cairo where we established since 1997, right? So to get real requirements from the Malaysian side uh, to ask the right questions or design, it is something challenging as well. So that's mean, but again, the best part when AI coming in 2012 with deep learning and everything, 2013 start maturity in Malaysia, 2015, 2016, we realized that recently we have a lot of requests to talk about AI. All right. Of course, we're trying to bring as well on the 3D. The reason is because of ChatGPT. So to answer you, the real challenge is the awareness of what AI can do and a lot of misconceptions on AI in general.
Right.
This is what my observation. I may wrong, but when you gone through, yes, this is what we see, Ms. Liew, on this one.
Okay, because I can see actually it's opened up a door. It's a game changer, you know, because we're moving to smart cities. So, okay, one last question from me. How
Okay.
far the readiness for the Malaysian to adopt this?
Okay. There are too many verticals, right? Okay. Maybe the one that I'm been working from my perspective, even today now I'm in Penang. This morning I've met a few industry player on manufacturing because we have the opportunity to develop the AI solutions. Um, Again, from my understanding is it is more um, on the specific vertical. Some are faster. Okay, let's say it's not from my observation from the PwC report, PricewaterhouseCoopers report. I think in 2021, the fastest areas that cope with the technology. Either we talk about AI, we talk about metaverse. Here we talk about omniverse. The fastest from the report, it tells that retail's industry is the fast-moving areas that trying to embed with all the technologies. So I don't have a specific answer how far away, but the opportunity to work on manufacturing on semiconductor, we start in 2018. Even this morning, we still have like from the real top management, we're trying to close the deal anyway today. But again, they still have a misconception on AI. They telling us about comparing the defect image with whatever available on their processing line. So this misconception, what I'm afraid is they will derail the beauty of AI, or whatever technologies, where the top management being explained in his or her view that may a little bit misconcept. So when we as come with the head of the academia, we are so interested to share more. So even the discipline that we work on semiconductors since 2018, um, uh, today 2023, yes, they have some challenge. But again, I see that the opportunity to go to Semicon conference, which is a big conference for semiconductor. Recently, they even not talk about AI, but surprisingly, when we go through various companies on the conference or the exhibition, they just tell all AI is already embedded into their system. But again, it's still question mark. I have the opportunity to talk with their engineers and everything. Doctor, I don't think so. That's a real AI. So this is something maybe in the next 3-4 months, I can have like a real validations whether it is a template matching or it's a real AI, for instance. So this is my thought, Ms. Liew, on this one. So specifically to generalize everything, I don't have the answer, but then in the domain that I work, it has a lot of progress now. That's
All right.
the beauty part. Yeah.
Okay, we're getting close to the end of our time together. So if there's one thing you would like our audience to take away from this session, what would it be? Maybe a last point of view,
Okay.
the advice maybe.
Maybe I'm not really sure who's the participants for the event today, but I believe it is a mixture of group of people.
Yes.
At least from the nation point of view, I think the environment for startup, it is, I think we've been ranked, I think recently in a good rank for Malaysia through Meranti. There are a lot of agencies that supporting on the startup eventually now, right? So it is good to see the opportunity. I mean, for the youngster, those who are, I believe, let's say I'm targeting for those who are coming from the education's background, as also love to share and make an awareness. This is like our obligations as an educator to share all this knowledge, the use of AI at the young age, right? Because this is very important, not only to develop, but at least when we talk about the generative AI today, on top of what they can do more on the 3D, so at least we have the right guideline how to use the generative AI. We talk about ChatGPT. I have a long topic on ChatGPT anyway, but at least the takeaway that can be used for every one of us, even myself, we need to have a good understanding, responsibility, as now people only talk about ethics in using technology, specifically in AI. So be prepared with our future generations with all these things. I think that's my takeaway, Ms. Liew, on this one. Yeah, you mute, I think. Your mic.
Okay, sorry. So just wanted to say that on behalf of APTT, I would like to thank Ibrahim for the wonderful talk. And I would like also to present the certificate to our presenter, Associate Prof, T.S. Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim. All right. I don't see, it's okay. So we can just wrap up lah. Huh? Before we wrap up, I would like to invite everyone to switch on your camera for our photo session. So, okay, maybe we can open on the camera. All right. So let's smile. 1, 2, 3. Right.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right, I think that's good.
Good, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you again. Prof. Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim for the great webinar session. It was a great pleasure to have you with us. So this concludes the webinar. Oh, okay. So on behalf of APTT community members, we thank you all for being a great audience today. We hope you have enjoyed and get some great ideas for this webinar. Okay, I wish you all a blessed day. We will see you next time and stay safe.
All right.
Ah,
Bye-bye.
all right, bye. Maybe you can off
Bye.
the sharing of WhatsApp.
Okay.
All right, thank you. See
Thank
you
you,
again.
Ms. Liew. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
think it's an honor to receive attendance and participant from all players industry. Especially together with us today, we have academician, we have industry player, we have a government agency together with us, and this is something we are very look forward. I want to do in this 2 days.
Dari APTT Sarawak, with appreciation and thank you for those who attend our program by physical or virtual. Sampai jumpa lagi tahun hadapan. Sarawak sayang. Yeah!